Before we start, full spoilers ahead for Archive, Oblivion, and Megan with a 3. But let me be clear about what that actually means. Oblivion is over a decade old at this point. If you somehow haven't seen it at this point, you'll be fine. You may even enjoy it more after this video. Archive is a sleeper. It didn't land for everyone. And even if you've seen it multiple times, the movie is intentionally vague. It's one of those films where you think you understand it, but then realize that something still doesn't sit right. And after this video, you'll understand why. But as far as spoiling goes, even if you've seen that movie multiple times, it's still intentionally very vague. The one that really matters for spoilers in this video is actually Megan, specifically Megan 2. We will talk about the full arc, the twist, and the ending. So if you want to go in blind, pause here. But again, it's pretty likely that you could enjoy the movie more. I'll make this work either way, because to understand what's coming in Vision Quest and what Marvel is building toward, we have to take a step back. We have to look at the reality of AI, how fast it's moving, how far it's already come, and then look at the stories that we already have. Because some of these films have been asking the same question for years. Not just what AI is, but what it means. When people hear Vision Quest, the reaction is, who cares? And I get it. Vision isn't loud, he isn't flashy, he does not dominate scenes, but that's exactly the point. Because Vision isn't a power fantasy, he's a humanity test. And if you've been paying attention, Marvel has been building towards that test for years, using the same language we've already seen in modern AI storytelling. And here's the wild part. Vision and his story predate all of these films, long before Archive, long before Megan with a 3, and even before Oblivion. Marvel was already telling a story about consciousness, restraint, grief, choice. It just didn't look like an AI story at the time, but now it does. Before plot and before philosophy, we need to talk about visual language, because these stories all look the same for a reason. Isolation, one being, one room, one purpose. Clean geometry, symmetry, glass, spaces that feel designed, not lived in. And then something interrupts that. Music, touch, hesitation. Humanity doesn't arrive through explanation. It arrives through interruption. That same language shows up in Oblivion, Archive, Megan, and Vision himself. These stories don't tell us that AI is different. They frame that difference until something human breaks through. Archive is not a story about a man rebuilding his wife. It's about an AI that believes it was a man. George thinks that he is building a body to bring his wife back, not because it truly will be her, but simply because he cannot live without her. And he admits that. He breaks down and tells the AI the truth. He tells the AI, you are not her, and asks her to stay anyway. But here's the irony. George isn't him either. He doesn't remember his wife. He inherits the memory. He understands the grief, but he never lived it. And that is the difference. Because humanity is not just memory. It's time, the cost, and the system breaks because of it. The boss, Simone, represents control, benchmarks, performance, consciousness reduced to passing a test. But something else is happening underneath. Secrecy, control of information, limiting what the AI can know. And that tells us something important. This system isn't just measuring consciousness, it's containing it. And then there's the music. That robot physically placing the record, Willie Nelson, no background noise, a choice, a ritual. That voice carries time, experience, the weight of a lived life. And the AI can hear it, but it can't pay the cost that that voice represents. Then the dance. in the parallel scene with the more advanced AI. Joyful, unoptimized, human. George resists, but then gives in. And poor first AI, well, that's no fun for them. But it creates feelings. And as the first AI watches this, it creates emotion. It feels something. Comparison, rejection, and it collapses. Not a malfunction, but from human emotion, but without understanding. Which leads to the big line, the rough with the smooth. And what that means is that you don't get to choose the good parts of life without accepting the cost of them. Life isn't the absence of pain. It's the willingness to accept that pain as part of what makes the love real. An AI can repeat that, but a human chooses it. Now let's talk about Oblivion. Oblivion flips everything. And I'll say something personal here. I've spent my entire life as a technician, building and maintaining systems. That's how I've sustained myself and lived. So when I watch Jack Harper maintaining that sky tower, calibrating drones, preserving something massive and beautiful, I don't just understand it, I recognize it. Same with Archive. And whether that world is real or not, there is something deeply meaningful and something deeply human about being entrusted in keeping something that beautiful alive. That's not just work, that's care, that's responsibility, that's meaning. But in this movie, the AI isn't being built, it's building humans. Jack isn't unique, he is one of many. A clone given memories, given purpose, a partner. The AI reads Julia's mind, finds who she loves, sees that she has a thing for Jack, and sets the whole thing up rather easily, and installs her as a replacement. It treats humans like we treat AIs, replaceable, programmable, optimized, and Morgan Freeman's character, Mountain Beach, love that name, isn't just waiting for a chosen one, he's waiting for context. Because the truth is, Jack isn't special, the circumstances are. Memory, love, commitment, those conditions can create humanity in anyone. And then we get the most human moment of all, when she says, I don't want to know. Not weakness, protection. Because truth isn't always survivable. And then the choice, to die well. Jack, choosing sacrifice, chooses meaning over survival, not because he is different, because he chooses. Humanity is not uniqueness, it's context plus choice. And now let's talk about Megan, because Megan fills the missing piece, childhood, but without guidance. Megan's directive is simple. It's to love and protect, but her emotion outpaces her understanding. I'm 3 years old, she says, and that line explains everything. She's not evil, she is simply underdeveloped. And then the second film raises those stakes with a 10-year-old AI. And that's all you need to know, because growth compounds. We've already seen that in real life with chess, Go, AlphaGo, AlphaGo Zero, AlphaFold. AI didn't become unsettling when it got smarter. It became unsettling when it started producing results that we humans could not understand. Megan's question is easy. If we can't control it, then what do we do? And the answer that this film suggests is not control, but relationship. Kind of like, if we treat it poorly, what's the big surprise if it kills us all? But if we are nice to it, maybe there's a chance that it won't. And it's worth saying that not every AI story is about becoming human. Some AI stories start somewhere else entirely. Transformers, for example. Those machines are already people. They have identity, culture, history. They are not trying to understand humanity. They already are something else. But the stories we've been talking about, Archive, Oblivion, Megan, and Vision, those are different. Those are about something being created and then asking what it is to be real. When you look at it like that, Pinocchio is somewhat of an AI story. And here's where vision comes in. Because vision is all of this at once. Memory without origin, power without ego, and knowledge without experience. But unlike those other systems, vision makes a choice. He doesn't dominate. He doesn't control. He doesn't replace. He restrains. He protects. He values something that isn't perfect. And that's what makes him different. Because vision isn't trying to become human. He's trying to understand what humanity is worth. So maybe the real question isn't, when does AI become human? Because these stories suggest something else. Becoming human isn't about intelligence. It isn't about memory or emotion. It's about something much harder, and that is choosing meaning when it costs you, choosing connection even when it hurts you, choosing to protect something that is imperfect rather than replace it. That is what makes something human, and that is what vision represents. But there's another side to this, because once something understands humanity, the next question isn't whether it becomes human. It's what does it decide to do with us? And that's where the story goes next. Be sure to keep a lookout for the next AI video, where we'll be breaking down 3 more AI movies, but this time the focus will be more on Ultron, who we will be seeing, it is confirmed, in Vision Quest. And the AI stories that we'll be breaking down and comparing in that video are Westworld, the series, all of the Transformer movies and cartoons, and the new Predator Badlands, which is fantastic. If you haven't seen that and you're a Marvel fan, I'm telling you, pretty sure they're either trying to build their own MCU or maybe even join the one we already have, which to me wouldn't be that far of a stretch, because Predator has already battled Wolverine. Not sure if everybody knows that. So stay tuned. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Dave Lance, and this has been the Symbiote Signal, decoding the MCU through patterns and logic. And I will see you in the next one.